All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Going Ballistic podcast. This is episode 30. I've got someone here with me.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be back.
Jason's back. And sadly, I was in Arizona this weekend. I didn't get a chance to come say hi, man. I feel bad, but I hope you understand.
Oh, I totally understand. Not only were you busy, I was busy.
I flew in Friday morning, raced over to a film studio to get things filmed all day for Rocket CCW, then raced from there to meet the students for the long range shooting course that Friday afternoon, evening. Then we drove out to who knows where, middle of the desert, to this property that we were at. Got everything set up at the facility there, and then spent all weekend teaching a long range shooting course. I even snuck out Saturday night and drove a couple hours from the desert back over to Scottsdale for my high school reunion Saturday night to see people out there, and then drove back out to the range, then taught the rest of the course. I tell you what, we had to make do with a lot out there because it was the middle of the desert, because the facility we were at. But man, the students were troopers. I think they had a good time. I think they learned a lot. I take that back. I know they learned a lot. I saw some guys just the very first morning just watching their groups getting better as we were trying to coach them with certain things. I was even joking with one of the guys that came with all this super nice equipment and all this really nice gear. As I saw his groups from one to the next as they got smaller all the way down to one hole, like literally shooting 3 or 4 groups in a row from coaching them. I said, all right, now I'm going to save this target. And if you decide to try to ask for your money back, I want to use this as proof that you got better. He started laughing. So it was a really good time. Wish you could have made it out there.
Oh, I wish I could have. One of these days.
Yeah,
I could use the training on it, I'm sure.
Well, it was a basic course, which I felt like I was apologizing for more than once because I don't want to go too slow for people, but sometimes that's important. Well, let me rephrase that. All the time, the fundamentals are important, but sometimes it's important just to do the basics. And some of the guys had some experience. I was like, oh no, these guys have been to a few different classes and they've already heard all this before, but they were great sports and they sat there and went through the classes. And I think they picked up a few things just on how I like to explain them or look at things. And they all shot great. Again, I think everybody improved. I think I need to be careful with my advice because the advice I give out on this podcast, people took to heart. We're getting the guns ready the first day and we're getting the scopes set up. And one of the first things I want to do is make sure the scopes are set up and the rifles are set up for everybody. And even when we did that, we still had troubles the rest of the weekend for some people not having it quite perfectly set up for themselves. But when we got the guns out to set it up, I looked across the line. I was like, Tika, Tika, Tika. I was like, wow, you guys really like the Tikas. And more than one of them were like, well, yeah, that's what you said to get. I had a XYZ, but you said Tika's the way to go. I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I feel bad. Not that you want a Tika, I love them, but the rifle you just described is perfectly suitable. Like, why would you go like, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for trusting in me. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you don't regret it. Let's see how the course goes. And I don't think any of the guys did. They were very happy with them, but it was interesting to see almost half the class had Tika rifles, or even some of the other things that they had done. They'd pull out a piece of equipment or to clean the rifles, they'd pull out the little baby food jar like I recommend. It was a little surreal. It was my first class since I had written the book or been doing the podcast to see people taking the advice before they took the course. Normally at the end of the course, they start doing that kind of stuff. It was really neat to watch people show up and have that happen. So it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Had my dad part of the course. So my dad actually made it out, and I was so excited to have, the senior Kleckner out there shooting with us. And I told him, Dad, I'd love to have you, but you're a student when you come out. You're not my dad. And he laughed about it because I don't know if you have experience with teaching family. Sometimes it can be interesting. And he was great. He had a lot of questions about things that he wasn't quite sure on. Like shooting at angles uphill and downhill or things like that. But it was really good. And believe it or not, it was the first time he and I had ever gone out and shot long range together. So it was really kind of neat.
That's awesome.
Sublime78's joined us. Hey man, on YouTube, he said, have I seen any results from the Bergara rifle? No, still not. I know everyone wants me to check those out. I know I need to, but man, I was just describing to Jason before we went live here. I can't catch my breath. I mean, literally, I can't catch my breath. I'm flying from one place to the next, project from one place to the next. I can't even get to the right range on my own. So sorry, guys. Logan says bolt broke the bolt stop pin on his Tika. What a bummer. That's not good. I've seen that happen with Remingtons for sure, and a couple other rifles. But sorry to hear that, Logan. Go get it fixed and let me know if it holds up or if they see anything wrong with that. Bobby wants to know if I'll hold any more classes this year. I don't know, man. This one about killed me. It's a combination of the heat out there in the desert and trying to catch up on everything else. I have, no kidding, I'm looking down on my computer right now, 6,438 unread emails. That's not from this weekend, but I just, Bobby, I love teaching, but I feel like I can't catch up with everything else. Even the guys that were out there as a teaching the course said, Ryan, when's the next book coming? When's the next book coming? Like, guys, you think I'm getting any writing done right now? We're out here teaching the course. So I'll try, Bobby, if I can. I'll probably do it closer to home. I'll probably do it out here in Tennessee. So let me know when you guys think would be a good time, and maybe we can do one. I'd also want to do a little bit longer of a course. One of the challenges of having this weekend-only course is you can't get into much in 2 days. And that means you're always feeling like there could be more, or we can't quite, explain each topic the way it should have been. It was a pain. So it was good to have it happen. I was glad the guys were out there, but I'd probably want to do a 4 or 5 day course at a minimum next time. And Sublime somebody asked, I love Vortex. What about the Steiner? Well, let's qualify that. I love Vortex, the high-end brand. The lower-end Vortexes aren't mid to lower end will work. They're good, but they're not professional grade, like suitable. Steiner makes some good glass, makes some good scopes. I don't think you go wrong with those. So, yeah, man. So your Vortexes hold up, right, Jason?
Oh, yeah, I've had no issues. I really like them. And they're not even I don't think they're the super high end either. I mean, it's the Viper HST. It's a good line, but I love them. I think they've been great, especially for the application that I'm using them for, which is a kind of more of a hunting than a long range, but both.
Right.
It's kind of my introduction to it. Yeah.
So honestly, it's good for where you're at, but we had troubles with those scopes in the class even. Just really? Trying to keep it. Yeah, they're just, I think we've talked about that. They're good, but they're not professional scopes. They're right. Not going to hold up. They're not going to track exactly as good as you want. Some of them just made some weird adjustments. We actually had 2 guys with either the PST or the HSTs that we started having to use the reticle for holdovers just because the scope wouldn't keep up with tracking. But one of them, as soon as he started having tracking troubles, I went over and asked him how he torqued it down. And he shrugged his shoulders, which that's what I used to do. I said, well, you know what? I know there's a problem with the PSTs and the HSTs. If you torque them too much, it'll actually prevent it from tracking properly. He's like, really? I said, yeah. So we went over and we loosened the screws and we torqued them down to 15 inch-pounds and the scope started tracking again. So there's a takeaway for you guys. If you have one, you torque it too much, apparently you can squeeze the tube too tight that you can prevent some of the mechanism from moving. So it worked out.
Which is why I ended up buying a inch-pound torque wrench, because the first one on the AR build, I don't know how tight I really got it. I just by hand and kind of guessing. Whereas on the 700, I ended up using all the proper specs, but they seem to be working okay. I mean, I've gone out, cranked them up, 24 minutes of angle, cranked them back, and then shot back at my 100-yard mark, and they seem to be okay.
That's awesome. That's all you can ask for.
But as little as I've actually used them, so I can't complain.
That's awesome. So Steven joined in on YouTube. He was out there at the course. He said spotting was definitely harder than what he thought. Yes, that's why the spotter's the team leader on most sniper teams. Anyone can learn how to pull a trigger. Spotting's the hard part. He gave props to his spotter because he did the work. That's true. That's how it should go. As I kept harping on the students over the weekend, you shoot the same at 1,000 yards as you do at 100 yards. You don't pull the trigger differently. You don't look at the scope differently. You don't get more stable or not. It's the same every single time. So really, it's up to the spotter to make all the distinctions between your elevation and windage and things like that, and to make some judgment. There's an awful lot of things that the students would do that I would actually have them stop and say, okay, everyone see what just happened? Now I'm going to call this as a spotter and this is why, because the last 2 shots didn't make sense, or that shot went high, but I'm not going to adjust because I think it's his platform and watch this. And so it was good to teach them some of the spotter judgment that comes along with shooting as a team. It was cool. It was really, really neat. And we had them out to 1,200 yards. They were shooting 12-inch by 12-inch steel plates at 1,200. So that's not bad.
Now, can you actually see where the bullet hits the steel plate at 1,200
Yeah.
yards?
Uh-huh.
Or are you guys reading off of like a dirt background? You see the dirt puff up?
Yeah, you can see the dirt kick up when they miss, but when they hit the steel plate, you can see where it hits for sure. You can see the trace going in too. So it was warm enough out there. You stand behind the shooter, you could see the trace all the way in. So it was really nice. There was a couple times where we had some scrub brush nearby, so you may not have seen, where the impacts were, but I could watch the trace go in and watch where it went.
Nice.
So TTF Hell 1 joined in on YouTube and he said, "Your dad did great. Spotted me at 900 with an impact at the second round. Great times. A longer class would have been great." Yeah, no doubt, Russ. It would have been great. And also just the facility. I mean, guys, I was mentioning before, I ended up with what we ended up with. Unfortunately, the guy I tried to do the course with, Jared out there, he was unable to make it. He got tied up because of the storm. And so we were trying to do the best we could, kind of pulling things out of our hip pocket a little bit. But I think we made it work. I think everyone did better. For shooters on a budget, how do you feel about the SWFA scopes? They do track consistently. Yeah. Guys, I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to stop answering emails all the time. That's not a bad question, Brandon, so don't think I'm picking on you. I've gotten to the point now where I can't do my job because you guys are asking questions, and I love it. I love that you're reaching out, but I need to do like a fact page because most people say, what gun should I get or what scope should I get? And then the reasons why they want one or the other. And it comes down to on the scopes, guys, it's all about your budget. Get what you can pay for. You really, I can't tell you what to get. I can tell you what I might get, but that's not the same even conversation. That's hard to say. What if I capped myself for $400 for a scope for a long range rifle? Well, if it was me, I wouldn't buy the scope and build a long range rifle. Right? If I'm not saying I made a money, I'm not. But if I was capped at that, I would be questioning whether I can afford to go shoot the rifle on a regular basis to practice and get good at it. And if I'm on that tight of a budget, maybe it's time to wait. Wait till you're not on that tight of a budget to be able to do it. But it's very difficult to say, guys. So there's tons of good guns, tons of good scopes. Don't skimp on the glass. Medium high is where you want to be at. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even mine's a budget gun. I mean, it's just, we've talked about it, the 700, I put a different stock, different trigger, and a mid-range scope. And I mean, all said and done, I probably have $1,400 in it. It shoots real good.
Yeah, exactly. So we had one of the guys out there. Well, all the guys were great. So one of the guys out there was a good guy. He had brought hunting grade ammo because he was on a budget. So he just didn't want to spend all the money on the match grade ammo and trying to make it, work for him, which is great. Awesome. Do it. We talked ahead of time. This is going to limit you. You're not going to be able to get the performance you want, but you're still going to learn how to shoot. We're still going to get the best we can. So let's try it. And after one target where he had slung like 19 rounds at it to hit it, I kind of pulled him aside and said, hey, so how many rounds was that, huh? 19. Yeah. I said, how much more expensive was the match grade ammo? He said, it was like twice the cost. I said, yeah. Do you think it would have taken you 10 rounds to hit it with match grade ammo? And he laughed. He goes, no, I guess not. I said, well, all right then. So maybe next time the match grade ammo, even though it's twice the cost, if you're going to use less than half as many rounds to hit the target, it's cheaper. So of course that was easy to say after the fact, but when instead of him buying a big chunk of ammo up front. But I think he learned a great lesson about what he's going to get, and he's already talking about changing and upgrading gear, not because he wants to chase the next best thing, but because I think he's realizing some better places to spend his money. So
yeah, and it's becoming more popular too. I'm even noticing, that you can get different match grade ammo, pretty reasonable. And it may not necessarily be, like the federal match or something like that, but even that box that I'm trying right now, working out all right.
what box are you working on again?
Oh, I've got 3 of them going. They're made here. we were discussing because I thought they were 162 and they're 168 grains.
Was it
in
atomic?
the atomics.
Yeah. My dad was actually shooting the atomic ammo, and I've heard some stories about it happening, and I saw it happen this weekend. As it can run a little hot sometimes. Well, I also think he was shooting a short chambered rifle they were trying to be too precise. They didn't allow very much jump in the bullet, and he had, I bet, 5 or 6 blown primers by the time the weekend was over, and more than that many times having to smack the bolt to get it up and open and to get it to work. It just wasn't working very good for him. So he stuck with it, which was nice, but I think a lot of people realized a lot about their gear. He was shooting a rifle that's extremely expensive custom rifle, and I've just been hearing bad things. And I saw 2 of those rifles in the course, one in the gas gun configuration, one in the bolt gun configuration, and both of them had serious problems. So it's like another example of like just trying to spend too much money to chase it, when the Tikas or the Ruger Precision rifles, man, I think there's 2 Ruger Precision rifles in the course. They were champs. They shot amazingly well. They cycled perfectly. It was just really, really good. So it was nice to have everyone there.
Nice. Now, the Vortex rangefinder, how'd that work out for you? I know you.
I didn't even bring it.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring
really?
it. Yeah, well, because the SIG is so amazing. Why? I don't know why. I'm not going to bring 2 rangefinders. The SIG was just cheating. I without a doubt, it is the best advancement in long range shooting gear for 10 or 15 years, easily. To have that powerful. I mean, we were looking at the furthest mountains away. People were saying, "Oh, well, how far can you laze?" I said, "Well, the furthest mountain." They said, "Oh, the furthest of these close hills." I said, "No, the furthest one." And I was picking it up and hitting 2,800 off of just the dirt. It was just amazing how far this laser rangefinder works and how accurate it was. And then some guys had some 6.5 Creedmoors, of course. And I said, well, let me tell you, hit the target. I'm like, well, my rifle would be up 7.6. You might want to try there or start there. It was just amazing to have the dope pop right up on the screen, in the laser rangefinder. So, Vortex makes good stuff. I think for that price, for just a lack of a better term, a dumb laser rangefinder that just does the laser rangefinding, I don't think you can go wrong. I think it'd be a great option. But having all the weather meter, measurements and all the ballistic software and a laser rangefinder, the SIG Kilo 2400 is just it's like cheating. So that's what I brought out there.
Everything was laying down on the ground, bring their own pad to lay on, or
yeah, folks had pads. Some people had borrowed or tried out the minimalist shooting pad that I sell on the website. It was made by a ranger buddy of mine. They like those, but yeah, everyone was on a pad and a prone. I take that back. A couple times we had people up on picnic tables if they had a hard time laying down. But in 2 days, I mean, man, we barely have enough time to even say, hey, angles at targets matter, and this is why. And I gave about a 15-minute explanation about cosine and the difference. I said, okay, let's go shoot. Because there's no way I could do that. Then everyone grab their gear, then go to the line, then find the targets, then get on the target, shoot and spot down the line. By the time you shoot 3 or 4 distances, you've taken 2 hours. And then people need a break and you do something else. So it was a shame because I wanted to skip certain things, but I knew that people would be, wanting to hear about it. But then when I dive into it, I'd explain, guys, normally this would be the whole day. We would talk about this, or a half of a day at least, and try it and see what happened. But today we just, kind of ran. So, prone only, no chance to get in positions, no chance to get into, acceptable amount of error or things like that, unfortunately. But in a longer course, we could.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to work on is a different type of pad. I'm actually kind of considering going with one of those self-inflating mats that you use for camping.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've been using like a moving blanket that I've been taking out and just throwing on the ground.
So why do you want a pad? Do you want it for comfort, or do you want it to keep you clean and off the dirt?
I want it more because where I shoot, there's a lot of rocks. And they dig in and they kind of make you uncomfortable.
So I think an inflatable pad's going to end up popping on you, isn't it?
They got the canvas ones. They're pretty resilient. They hold up pretty well. Basically, I don't even know that you'd call it self-inflating. It's got a piece of foam in it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Pop the little air valve that fills up. But something like that I can still kind of roll up pretty small and take out hiking with me. I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm open for ideas and suggestions.
There's it's a sacrifice between nice and padded and heavy and bulky, or not heavy, not bulky, and not padded at all. So
Right.
you got to pick one or the other. One of the older, backpacking pads are just the foam. They fold up into pieces like the eggshell, like hard, dense foam.
Hmm.
Might be better. It's not as small or as light, but it might work.
Yeah, no, anything like that. Like I said, the moving blankets are fine when I'm driving to my spot and just hopping out of the truck.
Hmm.
They're not very good for actually going out and setting up somewhere, which is what I want to do this year for varmint hunting.
Right. What are you going to bring out for varmint hunting?
I'm going to start with the AR, but I would like to pop one with the 308 too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Especially when you start getting into reloading. I'll share some of the loads I have with you, like the light 110 grain bullets out of a 308. It's just a screaming fast bullet, low recoil. Be great for varmints. That'd be cool. So yeah, man, maybe I need to let my brain decompress more to debrief from the course. Maybe I'll put some notes together, and for next time I'll cover some lessons learned from the folks. But this time, if you guys don't mind, I might just make it a short one tonight. Is that cool with you, Jason?
That's cool with me.
All right, sorry guys, only because we're kind of rambling about the course a little bit, and I think this is evidence of my brain is in too many directions right now. But I wanted to make sure and be diligent and get a podcast in, but I can't even get all the thoughts together to talk about, except to say I did find a Shield red dot sight that had completely broken, and it wasn't used very hard at all. And that's not encouraging as the battery contacts. And I was playing with it, and if you banged it hard enough, you got the light to come back on, and then it would go back off again. And I love that sight, and to see this one have such problems makes me nervous. So I'll see if that was just a one-off or if it happened with me too. If you guys check out Rocket CCW, I'd appreciate it. Go sign up for the newsletter on the website because it's not live. You'll see like a welcome screen, but the course isn't live yet because we're still editing the video. You'll get not only will you get notified when it's live, but you'll get a discount coupon off when it is live. And right now it's looking at under a half hour for the online safety training. And guys, it's not safety training. It is. It's the 4 rules of gun safety. It's be careful with guns. That's about all it is. It is by no means good enough to count for training or all the training you guys should be getting. Instead, it's just a way to check the box for that CCW. And I'm hoping it's going to be great. So check it out. I'd appreciate it. And of course, you guys keep doing the stuff with Rocket FFL. I have a cool new piece of software that I do a little welcome, like 5, maybe 10-second video to folks when they sign up. So people thinking that's kind of cool. So go check out Rocket FFL, get on there, get your FFL, and keep the questions coming. I don't mean to pick on you, Brandon, about the scope, but I can't recommend it to you guys. Go spend what you can, stay within your budget, save money for good ammo and training, and you'll be happy. As a baseline for professional use rifle, like for a duty rifle, it's a Remington 700 and a Leupold Mark IV. You can definitely get away with a less rifle easily, and you can get away with. Jason's having great luck with PSTs and HSTs. I think they're good scopes. It's not professional grade, but it's a great. I go out on the weekends and shoot long range, which is perfect. Go get it and enjoy it. You start getting less than that, it's not going to work. And almost every question I get is, like I said, for $400. What kind of scope can I get under $400? I'm going to be happy with. You're
And be
not.
careful with the Leopold Mark IVs. There's a lot of knockoffs going on right now with those, especially like on Wish, that Wish app where you can buy all different kinds of crap, from drones and stuff like that. I saw one on there, and Leopold Mark IV, and it was like $180, and I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah, no way.
Clicked on it, started reading through it, and started researching it, and it's just a knockoff. That how they're able to use the same name and everything is still kind of beyond me.
Oh, they're not. They're just making them in China and doing it until they get caught.
Yeah.
And good luck finding them because it's a PO box somewhere.
So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So that would be my only advice for anybody that's going to the Leopolds, because I'm starting to see a lot of them out there.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, it's sad to say, but 800-ish and above is where you should be out of the scope. That's just where it is today. Maybe 700-ish you can get it. Now you can get success with less than that. That's fine. But I'm never going to be able to recommend it because there's just too many scopes and too many options out there. Someone chimed in and said, I referred Rocket CCW to a friend, but it looks like Michigan isn't covered now. Any chance Michigan will make it in the future? No, so it's not. The good and the bad about Rocket CCW is this is not a thing where you look at what state you live in and see if it's covered, because it's probably not going to work for that anyway. So some of the fine print in the explanations that's going to come out is saying things like in Tennessee's highlighted as what's going to be covered by Rocket CCW, but Tennessee still requires, you live in Tennessee, you need to have we're not going to recommend anyone's permit if you're a resident of here. So that's not to say that nobody's permit works in Tennessee or there's no reciprocity with Tennessee. That's not true. So you look at these maps that show, where the Florida permit worked, for example, Tennessee's highlighted. It works in Tennessee. But all of those go away when it comes to residents. Tennessee doesn't want you to have someone else's permit to count for you while you're resident here. Well, that's almost every state's like that. So Ryan chiming on YouTube, just because he's not covered in Michigan, even if it was covered in Michigan, it's highly likely that Michigan would require he have his own anyway. This is for when you travel. This is for showing you that you have over half the country covered when you want to go on the road or go see something. So for, I think it's about $20-$30. I'm trying to figure out the exact price now to be able to get qualified to have this permit that's going to cover over half the country. That's the point. So yeah, please don't look at where you guys are at. Look at all the places you can get. So Jay chimed in, plus my diamond targets rock. Thanks, man. A lot of people don't know they're there. Go to ryancollector.com. Go look at the Long Range Shooting Handbook page. So go into books, Long Range Shooting Handbook. You'll see a thing that says free targets. And you'll be able to download the targets that I use to teach with normally. And it has those just diamond targets that I spent time getting the right thickness for different power scopes. So it's easy to zero and easy to shoot. And Jason chimed in. So that's cool. I'm glad you like them too, man. So sorry for the rambling, guys. Sorry for the not very planned out, but this is what you get when you don't want me skipping weeks, because I normally would have skipped this week. So here I am. Good checking in. Jason, you got anything for anybody?
No, I think I'm good for right now.
All right. I'll be more prepared next week, guys. For everyone, take care. Get out to the range. Be safe. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.